Coach, in a previous media session, you mentioned Ryan Miner. Um, Ryan passed away a few days ago. Just your thoughts on him and what he meant to you.
Well, when I got to Oklahoma, um, there was no transfer portal, or when you get a job in the month of April, most of the recruiting is done. So it's kind of like here, you kind of whatever you inherit, you inherit. You do the best you can with it. But um, I inherited a guy that was going to be the best player in one of the best conferences in America. Of course, that was the old Big Eight back then. Um, my favorite Ryan Miner story is I think I kicked him out of practice, and we came back the next morning, and facilities, you know, it was it was the mid '90s. Oklahoma, um, was set up for football, obviously. Um, but down at the Lloyd Noble Center, I think it was a equipment room would turn into a film room, and they put a big whiteboard on the board, and the players were just sitting in a regular desk. And I did a strengths and weaknesses session with them. I asked them what they thought their strengths were, and I asked them what they thought their weaknesses were. Now, I didn't see Ryan in the summer because he might have been at Cape Cod playing in one of those professional baseball leagues. Um, and then in the fall, they had some fall baseball, and the baseball coach and I, Larry Koshel, had a plan in place to use for Ryan, and I basically just listened. Um, I was a new guy, and whatever system they had in place, I was fine. I was going to be fine with it, but I didn't know how good Ryan was. So I once we started practice in October, is when I found out how good he was. But this particular day, I was at the board, and I had this kid named Calvin Curry who passed away last year. Outstanding player from Ventura Junior College, played for a great coach and Phil Matthews out there. Um, I said, Calvin, what do you think is one of the strengths of our team? Uh, Classic Calvin Curry. He said, my jumper. So, okay, okay. That's a problem because the jumper wasn't going in very much, but okay. And then, I let everybody have a say. And then I went to the weaknesses, and, you know, I didn't realize was that good because they didn't have many weaknesses. So I just jumped in for him and said, well, here's what I think your weaknesses are. And I came up with a pretty long list. And then after it was all over, and this is a true story, I erased everything. And I wrote Ryan Miner. I said, that's our strength. We have to have somebody we can play through. Now, that upset some of those guys, but uh, I knew eventually they'd get over it. But Ryan was a one of a kind. I've been head coach now for 35 years. At all three levels, he's the best offensive player in college that I've ever coached. And I've had multiple first round picks, two lottery picks, but I've never had a kid that could score behind the 3-point line in the extended elbow area or anywhere around the block like Ryan. He was a natural. When he got picked by the 76ers, Ryan kind of had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, baseball and basketball, because he was so good in both. It's unique that year. The first pick in the draft was Allen Iverson. The 31st pick was Mark Hendrickson, who I recruited to Washington State, who also played Major League Baseball. Got drafted by Philadelphia. Then the 32nd pick was Ryan Miner, two of my guys. Had Ryan decided to play basketball, he would have had a 12 to 14 year career. He was really talented. 30, he could drop 30 just about anybody. Just very gifted. Great kid, great family. Loved his mother and father. His twin brother Damon. They played, Damon played for the San Francisco Giants, Ryan for the Baltimore Orioles, and the old Montreal Expos. So that was a special family, man.